Hey everybody, welcome back. Before we start today's video where we're going to do some porting, I just want to stop and say Merry Christmas everybody. Thank you to everybody that hangs out here. You guys are just a great group of people. I have met so many amazing people from all over the world on this channel. This is my fourth or fifth Christmas on YouTube. It's probably fifth now, and I always take the time. Merry Christmas everybody. And I hope you have an amazing holiday season. Okay, on with the video. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the Saw Shop. Been on a little bit of a hiatus again, just doing Christmas things. We built a gingerbread saw shop, the family and I. Had a blast doing that. Gingerbread men and all that good Christmas stuff. Having a child has definitely renewed my love of Christmas. I lost it for many years and now it's back. Anyways, folks, today on the channel, let's get going on these transfers. I think I know what I'm going to do. I have a little bit of an idea. I'm going to do some fairly, not radical, but fairly invasive surgery to this cylinder because, well, I want to get more flow out of this thing. And the way I'm going to do that is to cut the bottoms of the skirts off here. Now, this cylinder itself flows pretty good. It's pretty much a straight shot out of the cases. There is a small bump when you put the cylinder on like this. There's a small bump on this side, and this side's pretty much straight open. So we're definitely battling the rules of this saw, meaning we're battling what the factory gave us. Now, these are good running saws out of the box, but you guys know, guys like me can't leave good enough alone. So today's video, I'm going to cut the skirts down a little bit and do some mods to the cylinder. I'll bring you guys in, show you what I'm doing, and also we're going to do some work to the upper transfers. I noticed a major design flaw in this cylinder out of the box. There's a lip. There's a big lip that's probably a 1/16 of an inch that blocks all four upper transfers. So when the transfers go up, there's a ledge. Okay, I don't even know how to make my fingers do that. If it's upside down, we'll go like this. If this is the top of the transfer, it bends up. There's a ledge right here, and then the port goes in. So the air actually hits a ledge and probably swirls backwards. Not good for performance. So in this case, we are going to raise the upper transfers a little bit. I put a ring in there to leave myself a guide. And then I used a marker and drew around so that I know how far I want to go. And I just eyeballed it. What I'm going to do, friends, I'm going to pitch the transfers a little bit up and get rid of that little lip. So I'll bring you guys in right now, show you guys what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to jump right to porting and get this thing ground and show you guys my thought process. Okay, so I made a couple lines. These are just to eyeball it. I'm going to grind 2 half circles, one here and one there. Kind of like an echo. I was talking to Scott on the WhatsApp the other day, and he's a very good builder, another Canadian boy. And he was like, hey, have you ever done an echo? And it's like, well, I half did an echo. It didn't run very good, but that's kind of along the lines. Now, the idea is, I'll take this. The idea is if I leave something in the middle, here you guys are here. If I leave something in the middle, that'll support the piston on the way down. And even, friends, if I want to, I can grind out the piston a little bit. The problem is with saws like this is the cylinder is laid down like this, right? Your skirts are riding on the transfers, okay? So there's not a ton of support if you grind it out. But again, this is going to be a play saw. I'm not super worried about it. And I want to see what kind of power we can get out of this saw. So I'm going to do that. And then if you guys look here, if you're doing a Pioneer, oh, look at that. You guys see that? See that lip there? Okay, that hooks my screwdriver. That lip right there. All four corners have it. So I made myself a little line there. And all I'll do is I'll go in there. This is the time you need a right angle. I'll go in there with my right angle and I'll gently grind that flat. Before you start grinding, make sure you have a bit that's going to fit. Okay, there's not a lot of room in there. And I'm just going to go around and take care of that. And then when I'm done, I'll put the ring back in there and make sure all four of them line up. Now, that leaves me with my boost port. My boost port's going to have to get raised. So, a little bit of extra work. I was thinking of cutting a hole in the piston. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is I would have to cut a hole kind of way down in here. And I thought to myself, that's probably not going to be the best idea. I don't want to ruin this cylinder, so we'll go the other way around. I want to keep these as closed ports. I like this design. It's like a 372. Or a 372 is actually like this. This came first. But I want to see if I can get some more full. These transfers are really nice. Look, you can see that lip down in there. Okay, these are really, really nice transfers. I'm not going to do a ton of them. The other reason I don't want to go hogging these transfers out too much is this boost port accounts for a lot of case capacity. I still want this saw to be snappy. Large case capacity, you'll have a lot of power up top, but you might not have a lot of mid and low end. Now, to me, the way I've been taught to run a saw is you run it wide open. So I always tend to make saws that make all their power at the top. I don't broaden my power. To each their own, friends. Harleys, you talk Harley cams. Some guys like a torque cam where everything's down low and in the middle. Some guys like a cam that's more mid-range and top end. When I was into Harley motors, friends, I wanted a motor that just went right to the top and made tons of power up top. That was always, I wanted something that would bounce off the rev limiter. That's just always the way I've been, so keep that in mind. More case capacity, you usually end up moving the power up top. Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. I'm going to get set up here. I'm going to do my upper transfers first, and then we'll start working on the bottoms. I might even change my mind on what I'm doing, but I think it'll be a good start to, to work on the upper transfers and get them where I want them. I'll hit you guys back when I got some grinding done. Okay, here's the upper transfers. You can see there's no ridge there. Still got to clean them up a little bit, but I've widened them just a hair. And notice, I'm not quite done this one. I left that so you guys could see. Notice, I haven't ground. There's still a little bit of a ledge in there. There is a ledge. Focus. There we go. There was a ledge all the way around the outside of the transfer on both sides. And again, I just use a ring. Notice they open at the same height. This is finicky work and it takes a while. So if you're going to do this, make sure you have some time to complete it. Okay, I'm just going to finish cleaning these up and then we'll do the lower transfers. Okay, here's what we come up with. Upper transfers. I only hit them where I thought I needed to. Anywhere that there was a ridge. Raised them about 1 degree. You guys can see there's my blowdown. Still going to be about 24 degrees. Now, notice, friends, I have to raise my boost port. I'll do that off camera. Like I said, I want to open that about just before the upper transfer. So if you look, the boost port has to be raised just a little bit. Again, friends, I'll go in there one more time and just flatten the tops of those upper transfers. You can see they're not exactly perfect, but this is what I got done for tonight. Like I said, if you're going to do upper transfer work, make sure you got lots of time. And then the bottoms. I started here. Now, I may go farther than that, but I may not, friends. I haven't decided yet. But basically, that's kind of like Echo does. Okay, now I could also cut the skirt out there. Now, the reason why I didn't cut the whole bottom out, and I still may, I don't know, friends, there are no right or wrong answers here, is if I cut the bottom out, I'm going to be resting mostly on this edge. Okay, and I'm trying to keep this piston as supported as possible. Okay, you guys see that? There won't be a whole lot of... The piston goes right down to the bottom on these. There won't be a whole lot of support on this piston. Also, I don't want to make these too deep because I don't want this little piece sitting out there. I don't know, because the piston is pushing, exerting force outwards on here, I don't want these to break off, which is a high possibility. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave this like this. Okay, I got a little bit of cleanup work to do in here, and like I said, I'll raise that boost port. And then I got to go into these transfers. I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup. I already started this one. I'm just going to go in and smooth these. I'll probably radius these edges just to give the air something smooth to flow over. Okay, and I'm just going to go in here and I'll just clean this up a little bit. I don't think I'm going to do a ton of transfer work to this one because we've already cut the boost port. We now have bigger upper transfers. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do a ton of lower transfer work, which isn't like me, but we're going to do something different on this one. I like these transfers. They're a good size for a 65cc saw. They're very smooth inside. You guys can see I got right to the back. You can see the roof angles. Okay, and they look pretty good, friends. It's just on camera, everything looks kind of funny. Okay, and I just went in there and cut the corners and smoothed everything out. Okay, but we now got nice big upper transfers, pitched slightly up, so they'll go just over the top of the piston on a slight angle, boost port, and all the other goodies. Now remember, friends, I got a bunch of comments about if you hog out too much here and there, you're gonna kill the case compression. Yes and no. Remember, this is a Reed two-stroke. It's not a piston port. A piston port, you guys have seen some of my home light builds, or at least I hope you have over the years. The big home light I built for Bucket, the 925, I believe he had that out the other day. That saw is a monster, and if you remember, I split that and I completely flowed and trenched the cases, meaning I ported the cases. I ported the transfers. I did the upper transfers. I did everything you could do to a two-stroke in that saw. That saw still has good trigger, good throttle response, and it also gets on the pipe right now, and it's got a ton of power up top. And it's still extremely torquey. Now, that saw is only 77 cc's. It's not in the 80s, but it cuts like an 85 cc ported saw. And the reason why, friends, is with a Reed saw, remember, your piston parks at top and bottom, but in between there, let's say a full rotation is 180 degrees around. Well, 180 degrees, okay, minus, we'll say there's 5 degrees at the top and 5 degrees at the bottom. Okay, that leaves you 170 degrees of pump. Okay, a piston ported saw usually will start spinning back somewhere after a saw this size, 160 degrees. With a piston ported saw, that's kind of your limit. They'll start getting lazy. They'll start spinning back. They'll idle. They'll have problems idling. A Reed saw like this, friends, a Reed saw, we'll say this thing is 5 degrees total, top and bottom. So we'll say there's 175 degrees of movement up and down. Well, friends, these things will pump for 170 degrees. If that case pressure is not greater than the pressure coming in from the carburetor, well, guess what? It'll just fill the case until the last bit of stroke. That is the difference between a Reed two-stroke and a piston port. A Reed two-stroke, a Reed chainsaw, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, cc for cc, you can usually make more power with these. I've yet to be stumped by one of these and not been able to make big power with them. So anyhow, friends, that's what I'm doing right now.
and I think I'm onto something here. I'm gonna leave this the way it is. We can always cut these out more. And the way I'll know if I'm cutting with this saw and I feel like it's running out of wind, well, maybe we need some more transfer work. Maybe we don't, right? So maybe I'll cut these right off. I don't know, friends. Do you guys think this piston is going to put up with that? If I cut that off, this thing's only supported for 1.25 inches. Not even. Okay? This entire piston is only 2 inches. Okay, this entire piston is only 2.2 inches, friends. 2.5 inches. Oh, no, sorry. 1.252 inches. Okay, friends, if I cut that off, I'm going to be somewhere about here. I won't even have 1 inch of support. Okay? Which what'll end up happening is this piston will start to rock. I'll start to shine up the top, and I'll start to wear the skirts. And what'll end up happening, the skirts will wear to the point that it'll catch, and it'll usually break off. Now, there's no intake port for anything to catch on this saw, so that's a plus, but don't really want to go down that rabbit hole with this saw. I don't think it's the best idea. And again, I could still drill holes in here and through the piston. But friends, while I'm flapping here, remember, Little Red Barn piston, I'm not too sure about this thing. I had to do a lot of work to these just to get them to fit. So again, I'm not too comfy drilling holes in this piston. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, I mean, whatever, friends. If I got to pop a saw for non-science science, like we're doing here, because this is non-science science, I will, but I prefer not to pop this thing on the first go. Okay, well, that's what we've done here today. I feel a lot better. We got something done.
Okay, friends, well, that brings my year to an end, more or less. Merry Christmas to everybody that's out there, and thanks for hanging out here week after week, day after day, video after video, year after year. I really appreciate you guys. You guys add a lot to my life, and I really enjoy doing YouTube. So Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you have a great time with your family. I'll probably jump in after New Year's, Christmas, somewhere in there. I'm off for about 8 or 9 days, friends, so I definitely will have some shop time. But for all you out there, Merry Christmas, and I guess take her easy. Later.